Hey everyone, CT Luna here, and welcome to the Audio Lab. Throughout this month of July, I am running a little experiment. I know so many of you love to listen to your books, and since I'm getting ready to eventually record and publish the official audiobook for Brown Beyond Borders, Emerging into Golden Multidimensionality, I wanted to practice out loud with you first. So every single day this month, I'm pulling up a chair, reading a few pages of my memoir right here. And if you're on the free list, these daily drops will stay open for just a few days before they head into the archives for my paid subscribers. So make sure you keep up. And if you ever miss a session or want to unlock the whole archive and listen at your own pace, you can upgrade to a paid subscription at any time. But today we're stepping back into chapter 5, the intersections of Brown and the workplace. And I'm picking up right around the 3 dots here on page 88 in my book. So here we go. Organizations responded swiftly, locally, and globally. Pledges were made to increase diversity and inclusion initiatives, a move that felt like a step in the right direction. I felt compelled to support the firm where I worked by encouraging employees to participate in courageous conversations. It was a global online discussion board where, for 3 days, employees worldwide could anonymously share their thoughts and experiences on the Black Lives Matter movement. The response was remarkable. Tens of thousands of colleagues globally engaged in open and honest dialogue, sharing personal stories, fears, and hopes for a more equitable future. It was a powerful demonstration of the collective desire for change. I joined my colleagues from around the world and contributed my stories to the organization's Courageous Conversations. I felt this initiative was a critical and powerful exercise, a way for the organization to record, acknowledge, and capture these lived experiences. I had hoped it would serve as a reminder for the organization's future. This is why we invest in DEI. My optimism was short lived. I was deeply disappointed to learn that these anonymous contributions, these courageous voices, would be locked away in a corporate vault, inaccessible to the very people who had shared them. It felt like a betrayal, a stark reminder that despite the rhetoric, the organization was still hesitant to truly embrace transparency and accountability. This experience left a lasting impression on me. It fueled my determination to advocate for genuine diversity, equity, and inclusion, not as fleeting trends or public relations exercises, but as fundamental pillars of how I show up in the workplace. As I transitioned to a new role at another organization, I carried with me the lessons learned from the summer of 2020. It was a turning point, not just for society, but for my understanding of the complexities and challenges of creating a truly inclusive workplace. It solidified my commitment to pushing for meaningful change, to ensuring that the voices of the marginalized are heard and valued, and to working towards a future where diversity is not just celebrated, but truly embraced. The anecdotes in this chapter provide a poignant glimpse into the complexities of navigating workplaces, particularly in relation to corporate social responsibility, CSR, and social impact initiatives. While organizations appear committed to fostering a more inclusive and equitable environment, the execution of these efforts sometimes falls short, leaving employees like me feeling disillusioned and frustrated. In my anecdote, the new CSR representative's explanation of corporate responsibility as, quote, giving back to the community, unquote, felt shallow and performative. The vague definition ignored the systemic issues that contribute to social and economic inequality, the very issues that CSR initiatives aim to address. In Courageous Conversations, the organization opted to set aside the lived experiences of employees from marginalized backgrounds who often bear the brunt of inequalities. To me, these activities and behaviors felt like a dismissive attempt to simplify or brush away the complex issues of prejudice and discrimination, reducing them to charity work, tokenism, or band aid responses, rather than acknowledging the company's role in perpetuating or the company's potential to drive a positive impact in mitigating these systemic problems. The firm's lack of budget to include male allies and champions in its women's inclusion networking events further highlighted this disconnect. It seemed that the firm was content with superficial gestures of inclusion while failing to create a genuinely supportive environment where everyone could contribute to change. I'm optimistic that many organizations are continuously evolving and trying to do better. However, I consistently hear from friends around the world in other companies and other industries that these kinds of stories are not one-offs. At the time of writing this, companies continue to demonstrate an inability to commit to building or incorporating diverse perspectives into their CSR, DEI, human resources, and employee resource group teams. Taking a siloed approach that results in a lack of the nuanced understanding necessary to truly develop impactful initiatives is still quite usual. A top down approach that prioritizes optics over genuine change is often the norm. To truly navigate the complexities of the workplace and make meaningful progress on DEI initiatives, organizations could adopt a more holistic approach, such as onboarding a diverse panel to its social impact teams, and seriously considering their insights and expertise. Including individuals with diverse backgrounds and lived experiences lends the organization a deeper understanding of the systemic issues at play, enabling the development of more impactful solutions. This would ensure that initiatives are not only well intentioned, but also effective in addressing the needs of all employees. Or focusing on systemic change and moving beyond performative actions. This involves actively working to dismantle internal policies and practices that may contribute to discrimination and inequality. Simply organizing events or donating to charities is not enough. The firm needs to address the root causes of inequality within its structures and systems. Creating a culture of support and belonging for all employees. This includes providing financial, human, and time resources to help employees navigate the challenges of the workplace, as well as fostering an environment where everyone feels comfortable bringing their authentic selves to work. This means creating a space where everyone feels valued and respected for who they are. By taking these steps, organizations can begin to bridge the gap between their stated values and their actual practices. This will not only benefit its employees, but also create a more inclusive and equitable workplace for everyone. It will also enhance the firm's reputation and attract top talent who are seeking a workplace that aligns with their values. You might have noticed that I use the R word, racism, very sparingly. I was brought up in a time and place where I could get a lot of flack for using the word. Whether to call out an undeniable and harmful act of discrimination, or even when discussing my DEI plans in the organizations where I have worked, I avoid brandishing the race card. Instead, I use neutral words like bias, divisive, and controversial, as well as euphemisms like authenticity, belonging, inclusion, and well being. A rainbow of happy outcomes that all corporations want to see from a positively productive workforce. My experience has been that, in the context of workplace dynamics, silence has historically been the safe way to avoid corporate risk. However, I'm also finding that it is increasingly becoming a form of complicity in the perpetuation of unfair systems and policies. So, to point blank use the R word about organizational change, that alone sends a powerful message. Shireen Daniels' book, The Anti-Racist Organization, Dismantling Systemic Racism in the Workplace, stands out for its unflinching use of the words racism and anti-racism. What energizes me most about her, including the word anti-racist, a long organization on the cover of her book, is the deliberateness of her language and therefore the intent of her book. By using these specific terms, she is shifting the conversation on race and creating a new narrative where anti racism is recognized as the only acceptable path forward. Keeping these terms at the forefront, Daniels ensures that dismantling systemic racism remains a top priority throughout the book and beyond. By using the R word frequently, Daniels encourages readers to move beyond mere awareness and embrace an active commitment to dismantling racist structures and practices. By refusing to soften the language, she challenges readers to confront the harsh reality of systemic racism and its pervasiveness within organizations. Her directness cuts through layers of denial and defensiveness, creating a space for honest conversations about race and its impact. An HR professional with more than 20 years of experience, Shireen Daniels aimed her book at leaders, particularly white leaders. Oh, let me repeat that. An HR professional with more than 20 years of experience, Shireen Daniels aimed her book at, quote, leaders, particularly white leaders who occupy the majority of executive positions in corporations on both sides of the Atlantic, end quote. In her book, Daniels presents a robust framework for dismantling systemic racism and creating more inclusive and equitable workplaces. She doesn't mince words. She argues that diversity without equity is just window dressing. Her book explores the historical roots of systemic racism, its contemporary manifestations, and its insidious impact on individuals and organizations. By weaving personal experiences with historical facts, legal cases, and HR insights, she creates a compelling narrative that resonates on both intellectual and emotional levels. Recognizing the golden blend of her multicultural background and hearing her stories, I immediately aligned with the messages of her book. And I am equally encouraged that her insights and perspective are born from a place of understanding. While Daniels may self identify as Black, I see her as brown as all of us. She is a fluent code switcher who regularly navigates multiple cultural, ethnic, racial, and social intersections every day. More importantly, she has done the work of challenging herself and her own comfort levels in understanding her role within workplace dynamics. Unlike many other books on diversity and inclusion, the Anti Racist Organization is hailed as the first business book about systemic racism written by a person from the UK. This is important to call out because too often racism is written off as a uniquely American problem. With her book, Daniels shines a light on workplaces everywhere, many of which continue to be unaware of the systemic racism embedded in their policies and practices. Daniels provides a practical four-factor model for creating an anti-racist organization, guiding readers through recognizing the problem, analyzing its impact, empowering for change, implementing anti-racist policies and practices, and embedding anti-racism into the organization's culture. A deliberate and strategic act of confrontation, education, and empowerment, Daniels's approach challenges the status quo, demands action, and ultimately paves the way for a more just and equitable future for all. She reframes anti racism as a positive and necessary force for good. That's where we're stopping for today. So that was the end of chapter 5, which was called The Intersections of Brown and the Workplace. And if you have any questions about the book, the writing process, or anything we covered in today's segment, drop it in the comments of this post. I might just answer yours on a future episode. And for that, on that point, you can see that like I'm still new to this, reading in front of a camera, reading out loud. So I was just reflecting on the words of that chapter as I finished, and I was distracted by what do I do next as far as the camera is concerned. Anyway, I'm really glad I'm getting to share this unedited process with you. Look out for the next pages in your inbox tomorrow morning. I will be recording them right now and loading them into the Substack so that they will go live tomorrow. So you'll see these quite close to each other. If you know someone who would connect with this part of the journey, please share this post with them while it's still open to the public. And if you want to support this audio experiment and my writing as I start drafting book 2, which I haven't done yet because this is a very busy month, turning out to be a very busy month. consider becoming a paid subscriber to unlock everything, and then you'll have access to everything as long as you're a paid subscriber. So, thank you so much for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.